my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to share with you what to use after the Ordinary Glycolic Acid 7% toning solution. Now I'm not only going to show you what can and cannot be used with the toner, but I also wanted to show you step by step where you can find this information. As I believe that with most YouTube videos that are talking about Ordinary, they do not mention it, and I feel like it's really important since not everyone has the same products at home, which can already save you some time to also look for it since you have it just right in front of you on the Ordinary website. And so this is also where I want to break it down and show you step by step how you can find those information. But before you're going to look up for the information, I also want to share with you the general rule of thumb, which is getting really important if you want to set up your skincare routine and if you want to properly layer the products. Now you're always going to start off with water-based serums, then you're moving on to any anhydrous solutions and oil formulations, and then you're going to finish it off with any creams and suspensions. Now, if you have more than one water-based serum, you can apply it based on the priority of your concern. The product that targets the most important concern should go first, and it's recommended applying an eye serum, such as for example the caffeine solution, first after cleansing. And a maximum of 3 serum formulations in a single regimen. This doesn't include the creams and suspensions, so you're still fine to also use them after the 3 serums. And always apply good sunscreen when you're exposed to the sun. So now that you know how you can properly layer them, and where you have to also be careful is basically the formulation, if it's a water-based serum, if it's an oil or a cream, this is where it gets important so that you can also properly layer them, so that you have a proper skincare routine set up. But it's also important to figure out what products can and cannot be used if you have, for example, a specific product such as the toner that you also want to use, and you just want to make sure that it doesn't have any conflicts or that it's going to irritate the skin. Well, you will find this information on the Ordinary website, and they have a category which is called Regimen Guide. And I'm going to put the Regimen Guide, like the link for it, in the description box down below so that you also can check it out for yourself. So now it's the time to take your Ordinary products. If you have the glycolic acid toner at home, grab this one as well, and we're going to go through this together. And the way that I'm going to describe it and also write it down later on is really important to keep a clear overview. Now, if you're going to scroll down on the Regimen Guide section, it will tell you the different categories where the Ordinary has also listed their products. If you have no idea about the products, or you may just want to look at it because you want to set up the right routine, or you have already some of the products at home, it can be a little bit overwhelming since you are not really sure where to find them. Now, one option is that you're going to go through those categories, look for the product. If you can't find it in the category, move on to the next one until you're finding the product that you're looking for. Or some of the products give you already a little hint, such as, for example, the glycolic acid. It mentions acid. The matrixyl mentions peptide. And also the azelaic acid mentions acid. So this is where you can also narrow down the category where you are going to look at. Now I'm going to keep the focus towards the toner and what to use after. So what's important is, where do I get now those information? Well, as I mentioned, it mentions acid, and here you can see a category where it mentions direct acids. So I'm going to click on it and see if I can find the toner. Yes, it's right here. And here you can see the main information, what it targets, what it is, the regimen step, conflicts, and time of use. Now, this is also a great way on how you can have a simple overview if you want to set up your routine to also make sure that this product is suitable for your skin concern that you have. For example, that it targets dullness, uneven tone, and textural irregularities. The format is water-based serum. The regimen step is using it after cleansing but before any serums. The conflicts is what's really important and where I also want to keep the focus on. As it mentions, do not combine with other strong acids, EUK 134 or peptides. And the time of use is ideally in the evening. So, I definitely would recommend writing it down of each product so that you have a general overview. And I will come to the writing in a bit, but I just want to mention that the conflicts is now where it's getting interesting. Since it mentions do not use with strong acids, EUK or peptides. Sometimes you will find under the conflicts that they mention a specific product, which is the EUK, and this is an antioxidant, or a category such as strong acids or peptides. So with the products that I have like laying down right here, those are my examples so that you can see how you can break it down. I have the next one, which is the matrixyl, and it mentions already peptides. So this already gives me a hint that I shouldn't use the matrixyl after the glycolic acid toner since those have conflicts. But I also want to check when I'm using the matrixyl maybe at another day or at another time, what conflicts does the matrixyl have? So what I'm going to do is, since it's under the category of peptides, I'm going to scroll down, click on peptides, look for the matrixyl, and here you have the main information as well, and it says that the conflicts are products containing direct acids and pure vitamin C. So now that I know for sure that those two can't be used together, plus that the matrixyl has a conflict with vitamin C, this is also already something that you can write this information down and then also keep this in mind when setting up a routine, so that you're making sure that you're using the products properly. Now for alpha-arbutin, I want to know, can I use it with the glycolic or not? So I'm going to check for alpha-arbutin. The more you're looking at those categories, the more you will get used to it. I know that alpha-arbutin is under more molecules. Here you can see again what it targets, hyperpigmentation, dark spots, what format it is. It's a water-based serum, and that you should use it before oils and creams. And with the conflicts, it doesn't have any conflicts, which is great. So you can also use it now, for example, with the glycolic acid toner, or you could also use it with the matrixyl, since those have no conflicts with each other. So this is how you can figure this out. Now the last one is also the azelaic acid. Again, it mentions acid, so I'm going to look for it under the direct acids category. And here you can see it. What it targets and also the conflicts. Do not combine with other strong acids, EUK 134 or peptides. So it's similar to the glycolic acid. The azelaic acid is a little bit special, which I want to get into later on. But if you are just starting off with Ordinary, I always would recommend following their instructions, especially the conflict, so that you're making sure that it won't cause an irritation. This is like general advice, so that you're making sure that you're using the products correctly. Now, how do you write it down? Well, first of all, now we have covered all 4 products, so I would recommend writing them down. And so I have an overview now of what it is, that it's the glycolic acid toner, it's a water-based serum, and that I shouldn't combine it with strong acids, EUK, and peptides. And I've done it with all the 4 products, so that I have a clear overview. Now I know that I also can use the glycolic acid with the alpha-arbutin, but also with the azelaic acid suspension. I get into this in just a moment. I also know that I shouldn't use the ordinary matrixyl since it is a peptide, so do not use it with the glycolic acid or the azelaic acid suspension, since those have like similar conflicts. But I do know that I can use the ordinary matrixyl at a different time, for example in an AM or PM skincare routine, different from the other twos, or another day. But I also know that I can use the matrixyl with alpha-arbutin since those two have no conflicts. Now, if you now want to change it into a routine, and I'm going to use those 4 as an example, it would look something like this. And I'll also put an niacinamide in there just in case, because it's such a famous product. But I now know that I can use the matrixyl in the morning, and I'm going to use the glycolic acid, alpha-arbutin, and azelaic acid suspension at a different time in my PM skincare routine. Now, why do I mention that the azelaic acid is still fine to use with the glycolic acid? Well, this is where it's getting a little bit more, not tricky, but you have to also keep in mind some of the pHs. It doesn't have anything to do with how you're going to apply them or with the pH of your skin or how you're going to layer them. This has nothing to do with it. But the difference is that the glycolic acid is basically a strong acid and the azelaic acid is a mild acid. How do I know that? Well, first of all, I have some sources, which I like, also some articles where I've read that it can be controversial with some of the acids, since not everyone has the same strength. And I'm going to put this source in the description box down below if you want to learn more about it. But for example, as you can see, the pH of this toning solution is 3.6, but of the azelaic acid is around 4 to 5. So they have a different pH, which means that this one is a little bit milder than this one. So you could theoretically use it also in the same routine. But if you're a beginner and you're just starting off with the Ordinary products, I would recommend that you're going to follow the instructions of the conflicts, which they mention right here, especially if you've never used any skincare products before, since the skin also need to be also adjust to those products. But if you're interested in why I want to also use those two in the same routine, or like why you can, you don't have to, I can put the link in the description box down below. Also, if you want to know more details about the specific products, such as the glycolic acid, what you can do is also under the regimen guide, you can also click on the product. And it also will give you the main information, as well as if it's water-free, alcohol-free, etc. So this is also a great way on how you can figure out what works and what doesn't. Now, I also want to mention that if you're just starting out and you want to experiment with the Ordinary products based also on your skin concerns and you want to try out the different products, it's important to also start off using one product after another so that your skin can also adjust to it, see for yourself what works and what doesn't. Not everyone has the same skin, not everyone has the same tolerance, what the skin also can basically absorb and also accept. So with any new product, it's also important to do a proper patch test and also introduce them slowly into your skincare routine. And for some people, some combinations may work and other ones do not work, which is also basically a trial and error situation where you can figure out what will work the best for your skin. So now that I also shared with you the basics, I do hope that you find this video helpful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!